And good morning, everyone. Glad to have you with us on the program this morning. And coming up on this morning's Ag Issues program, it is Dairy Month, National Dairy Month, and we're going to speak with a couple of gentlemen here in just a second. We're live on StreamYard, by the way. You can get that on our YouTube page, WIBW News YouTube page as well. We're going to be speaking with Dwight Rokey, who farms with his wife Anita and their family near Sabetha. Dwight is the current vice president of the National Holstein Association Board. And we're also going to be joined by Dave Lane, a dairy farmer from Goddard, who is the current president of the Kansas Dairy Association. That will be coming up this morning on the Ag Issues program here on 580 WIBW. But before we do that, let's get an update on the forecast.
Agriculture Network. With the exception of never cut out like that before.
Yeah,
it's never cut out like that before. I don't know why it's doing that.
My audio's right there.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. We may just have to fight that Anyway, you can cut off the speaker, overhead speaker, because I'm hearing that. Only when I'm on, when we're doing live video.
So I need to put it in program 2, I'm guessing.
Yeah, more than likely.
For the audio, for the actual station audio.
Yeah, I was hearing it on the speaker since I don't know. I mean, I can turn this mic on. Let's just do it that way. I'll just turn the mic on. Just to our listeners out there, we are currently running a weather segment right now, and we will get started with our interview here shortly. All right, thank you very much for the update. Now, as far as temperatures are concerned, of course, it's a little are less wet, I guess, maybe the better way this morning to put it. As far as the temperatures are concerned here in the capital city, we have a clear sky, 54 degrees at Blid Airport, clear and 54 degrees this morning at Forbes Field. And this morning on the Ag Issues program, a pleasure to bring these two gentlemen on to the program as we celebrate National Dairy Month. And we're going to be speaking with Dwight Rokey, who farms with his wife Anita and their family near Sabetha. He also serves as current vice president of the National Holstein Association Board. Dwight, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Greg. I'm doing very well. It's good to be with you this morning.
And we're also joined on the StreamYard this morning by Dave Lane, who is a dairy farmer from Goddard. He serves as the current president of the Kansas Dairy Association. And you obviously hear birds in the background as well because he's standing outside his dairy barn this morning. Dave, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. We're good.
Well, let me first ask you, because we've had rain here the past couple of days, or at least, Dave, you've had rain here the past couple of days. You've had a lot of rain down in your area the last couple of days.
Oh, yeah, we're fat with rain. We'll see how things look when the annual averages come out. But as usual, we're loaded with rain here later May and early June, and we're prepared for the faucet to rust shut here any day now. You're in a drought about 3 days after you enter the drought.
And Dwight, how about up in your area near Sabetha?
Yeah, so we're sitting in pretty decent shape. We haven't got that much rain. We could use a little more moisture. I think here just the last evening and yesterday we received 8/10, but things look good. We had good field conditions earlier on, and crops are looking nice at this point, as long as the rain don't shut off.
Yeah, as long as the rain don't shut off, because and Dave, we were talking about this beforehand. We haven't seen the typical June Kansas weather yet either.
No, I mean, I'm all for 51 or 2 degrees or whatever it is this morning in June, but it's not good for the long haul. It's not what we need.
All right, let's get to it. As we mentioned earlier, June is National Dairy Month, and Dwight, I'm going to start with you. One of the things that we're seeing, of course, is the increase in the popularity of dairy and dairy products that are out there too.
Yeah, so it's a great time to be in the industry. When you see such an uptick in protein consumption, and then which, dairy really attributes to that, right? So you've got all your products that are high protein and have great value. When you see consumers leaning into that and realizing the health benefits from it, it's just really exciting to see.
And Dave, you go through the state. What's been impressive, of course, is the growth of the dairy industry in the state of Kansas, not only as far as the number of dairy producers are concerned, but businesses and companies associated with the dairy industry. Dilmar Cheese is the biggest example of that have taken root here in the state.
Yeah, they're the latest, but they're certainly going to be a driver. Of course, dairy is changing in Kansas and has been, and that change will accelerate. As I said before, we don't have internet here today, so I'm Oliver out here on the pole, but there aren't very many Olivers on the pole left in the dairy industry in Kansas. We are being very much turned into or converting to a larger Texas, New Mexico, California style dairy climate. But we're happy to have dairy in Kansas. We're a growth industry. We're driving a lot of business in the state.
Dave, there's so much of this that comes from the out-of-state influence or people coming in from that as well. But I think for those who have been in the state, have seen a lot of difference and a lot of opportunities in the dairy industry too.
Sure, there's plenty of opportunity here. As they say, land is plentiful, and there's a lot of good support structure for dairy operations. And you'll need it if you're a larger operation, because you're going to need feed supply, you're going to need grain, you're going to need all the other things that go with it, and a lot of the areas in the state provide that. And the markets have come to help with that. There's a point where you need to deal with, when you have the supply, then you can actually have the processing. And it's sort of a one leads into the other. One doesn't pull the other too much. Although Hilmar will pull some production into the state.
Dwight, you serving as the vice president of the National Holstein Association, one of the things for dairy farmers, as many know, they go to great lengths to care for animals. If we would have this conversation 1 year ago, animal traceability, a lot more as far as for safety is concerned. Animal health measures, very much important, working to protect the herds as well. But for the Holstein Association, I know electronic animal ID programs have very much been a priority.
Absolutely, Greg. So yeah, I mean, traceability and stuff is extremely important to us. I think as dairy farmers, we do it pretty well. And it's of great value, and I think it's something that sometimes we can overlook when we think about animal traceability, and whether it's going to be a foreign animal disease or something that comes in. The better information we have, the quicker and sooner we can get on top of it and keep milk flowing and keep meat flowing and everything like that. So it's a huge thing. And it is it's what we do at the Holstein Association, right? Like that's our main thing is animal identification. And so we have like over 22 million animals on file that we can trace back to, whether it's ancestry, whether it's, the specific animal identification, ownership, performance, all of that. It's a huge, huge plus that we have. And if we can keep animals identified moving forward, it's a win-win for everyone.
And Dave, it's so important because biosecurity on your own farm, on your neighbor's farm, whatever the case may be, is a top priority, and obviously keeping the animal diseases at bay.
Yeah, and I'm just going to build on something that Dwight said a bit. Dairy we tend to be in the lead on a lot of things, and then other animal livestock deals tend to catch up with us. Animal ID to us is second nature. So the fact that more of this is being driven toward beef and other things, we look at it as, yeah, you don't already do that, So dairy's has always been very proactive in things like this. But as it comes to the other things, of course, dairy works with the state every year in drills when it comes to sort of disaster type scenarios and how we would deal with them to help animal health, help us prepare to go through those scenarios. We keep in touch with other states around us as we to keep each other aware of things and work together to help keep control on. Nobody wants to think about bad things happening, but sometimes they do. And the last thing you want to do when bad things happen is have no plan. So we're pretty good at trying to think of things that we don't want to think about.
And Dwight, no bigger example of that, of what we've seen with HPAI found in dairy cattle, and you're up very close to the Nebraska border, talking about communicating, but also the transportation of dairy products or dairy cattle to state, and trying to limit those situations if that needs to take place.
Yeah, you cut out just a bit on me, Greg, so I'm not for sure if I caught the whole thing. But yeah, just animal movement. And then if you have the RFID tags, the radio frequency tags, to go with them, animals that they should have in place to identify where things are at and where animals have moved, come and gone to, is just a huge, huge plus if we need to get on top and connect with something.
All right, gentlemen, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk more about Dairy Month in the state of Kansas, and we're going to do that with Dwight Rokey, who serves as Vice President of the National Holstein Association, and also Dave Lane, who serves as the current President of the Kansas Dairy Association. This is Ag Issues here on 580 WIBW. All right, we are in a commercial break, so I'm going to do some communicating with my studio engineer here. Any big issues?
When that other guy was talking, the one with the one on top, his audio was cutting out. I think when we were talking to him that last second. But before that, everything was fine. Are you able to hear everything okay?
Yeah. And I'm not hearing it cut out, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's not happening either. So
I think having the mic on helped, though.
Yeah. So okay, as long as it wasn't bad or long flowing,
No, I mean not for very long. Just that last part, it was starting to cut out when that guy was talking. So
okay, 10-4. What's the last part?
we have Northern Light Clock. So in about another minute, 15 seconds.
Okay, 10-4.
Call 800-351-4596. 800-351-4596. 800-351.
All right, for those who are watching, We're in a commercial break right now on 580 WIBW, and we will be back shortly to talk with both the gentlemen, Dwight and Dave, about what is going on here in the month of June, celebrating Dairy Month as well. So stand by. We're probably about a minute away from coming back here from the break.
I forgot it's go time for planes leaving Wichita Mid-Continent Airport.
We have another 20 seconds here.
About every 10 minutes, here comes another one. So. We're right in the flight plan.
All right, stand by, gentlemen. We'll be coming back here shortly.
This is Ag Issues with Greg Akagi.
We are back on the Ag Issues program this morning here on 580 WIBW, celebrating Dairy Month in the state of Kansas. And we are joined now by Dwight Rokey, who is the current vice president of the National Holstein Association Board, and Dave Lane from Goddard, who serves as current president of the Kansas Dairy Association. Well, we're in the month of June, celebrating as Dairy Month. And Dave, I know across the state, several dairy farmers will be having open houses or open farms, if you will, if neighbors can better understand the dairy farm and the everyday operations that take place.
They sure are. There's several of them around the state. I don't think it would be hard for the normal person to drive less than 50, 60 miles probably and find someone that's having something. And kind of you might say the exciting thing about that is a lot of the places that are having those are really kind of more progressive or modern type facilities. So you get to see a lot of things in action, whether it's robotics, whether it's processing or other things. Of course, kids are excited about just getting their hands on something or seeing a big cow, and that kind of thing. But for the adults that go too, there's things to pique their interest, and they can all learn something.
And Dwight, for you, your farm, you are getting ready to take some big steps to process on farm, but also eventually to sell direct to the consumer too.
Yeah, that's right, Greg. So I think in June Dairy Month, I think it just helps us reflect back on really celebrating the dairy cow, the Holstein cow. I mean, she's the world's most efficient animal in terms of production, feed efficiency, the amount of protein and fat pounds that she produces, and then having them products and being able to, like Dave mentioned, letting people come on the farm and see what goes on day to day and to taste the products and things like that. It's really exciting. Yeah, and what we're doing here personally on our farm, we're starting a processing plant. Hope to be up and running here maybe towards the end of this summer. Wish we could be here doing that in June Dairy Month, but I don't think that's going to happen. But yeah, we're looking forward to doing that and reaching our consumers. There's nothing more exciting, I think, for us and as a dairy industry as a whole, as to connecting with our consumers and letting them know the truth and what really goes on. There's kind of a quote that I like to think about, and it's like, don't confuse your Google search with my dairy knowledge, professionalism, and experience.
Indeed, most definitely. And one of the things that's going to take place later this month, Dave, is that youth involved in 4-H dairy projects, they're going to be gathering in Salina for the Kansas All Breeds Junior Dairy Show.
Yeah, they sure are. This is something that's happened in June forever. They're in Salina. Salina really embraces us and us back there. That's been a really long, good relationship with Salina in the chamber there. But it takes K-State to research and extension to really help pull that off too. So there's quiz bowls for the younger kids, different age groups, of course, showing and other things that kids are able to exhibit their strengths and their abilities there at the show, and it's something that I know I can speak for Dwight in saying that a lot of our dairymen really appreciate that show.
And Dwight, another part of that, another highlight that you see with those youth shows that take place, that their families are involved in breeding dairy cattle. It's the opportunity to sell registered cattle as well.
Yeah, and I see it as and also a huge positive for if you take these kids out to dairy shows and dairy quiz bowls and things like that, getting them involved in the industry and getting that excitement built up as well is something that, we really focus on, and getting that next generation back on the farms. And you start them out in them youth programs. It is just a great asset. And so we really appreciate all the people that work with the shows and, that organize them. And the research and extension people that help put stuff on is second to none.
Gentlemen, as we wrap this up, regardless of how farmers market their milk or whether they market genetics, dairy research is very, very important, as well as the Kansas Dairy Association has definitely prioritized new dairy teaching and research unit at Kansas State University and has been sharing the need for several years. In your own words, and Dwight, I'm going to start with you, since both of you are heavily involved in the Kansas dairy industry. Why is that important?
Okay, yeah. So with the K-State Research and Extension, I'll let Dave speak to that a little bit. I'm going to just jump a little bit to the national level. So like what we've done at the Holstein Association, we've partnered with Western Kentucky University with the Smart Holstein Lab, and we've done a ton of research there. Any animal wearable that is possible, from ear tags to rumen boluses to whatever it is, we have got it there at the university, and they're testing everything, getting that information out. And so if any farmer's looking for what technology is best used on their farm, we have all that research and information available.
And Dave, just talk about why the research part of this is so important and what this can do for the industry, not only in the state of Kansas, but in other places as well.
Well, we talk about the dairy project, and we focus on the parlor and the cows, and it's like it's just another milking facility, but it's more than that. We're drawing kids from out of state that don't have access to good facilities now. Some of these kids stay around here. I can think of a couple in particular that have made Kansas home that wasn't their home. We need these people to be the next generation of our tech people, our leaders, and people that work on our farms and manage them. Processing, veterinarians, which are we can't have too many dairy specialized vets. The students that work there get exposed to dairy in ways that they wouldn't otherwise. We have plenty of kids that come into those programs that have never seen dairy and get sparked by it and come into the dairy industry. So that research project there is it's been a high priority for a long time, and it continues to be. And hopefully we get that drug across the finish line this next legislative session.
All right, gentlemen, we are out of time. So Dave Lane, president of the Kansas Dairy Association, we appreciate you joining us this morning.
Appreciate it, Greg. Thanks a lot.
And Dwight Rokey, who serves as vice president of the National Holstein Association Board. We appreciate you joining us this morning.
It was good to be with you. Thanks, Greg and Dave.
This has been Ag Issues here on 580 WIBW. And stay with us. When we come back, we'll get an update on the news headlines, and we'll check the weather forecast. That comes up next.